Welcome to this episode of Lessons from the Tank. This week, I have Dr. Bob Yonover, who invented a life-saving device called Sea Rescue. Although he did not get a deal on the show, you will be so surprised who he did get a deal with. Check this out. You're going to love it. Dr. Rob, thank you so much for being on today's show.
It's my pleasure, man. It's a great honor. Thank you.
So we recently had a reunion of all of the Shark Tank companies, or at least a big majority of the Shark Tank companies got together out in Las Vegas and got to do some networking, and we had a bunch of breakouts, essentially helping us to be better business people. And you and I really hit it off. We had some great conversations. As a matter of fact, I even got an invite out to your house in Hawaii.
Absolutely. It's extended to all Shark Tank people, of course. And I love being around that energy. And, we had one conversation where someone was saying, I can't get a word in. I go, what do you think's going to happen with all these Shark Tank people? We're all always out pitching each other. You got to get a little edge in there and go. You got to say something. Just like in business, if you see an angle, you got to go. You can't stay back and wait. Right?
You got to be opportunistic. So
I'm a surfer. You don't wait. If you wait, you get drilled. You got to go in with confidence.
All right. So before we jump into too much, your product was Sea Rescue. It was season 8, episode 22. Right.
Right.
And tell us a little bit about your product, because I just bought a boat and I see the dangers that are out there, and I think this is brilliant. So I'd really like you to talk about it for a minute.
Okay, thank you. Very simple. If you're lost at sea or in the mountains hiking, your head is the size of a coconut floating in the water or a rock. All they have is smoke, flare, sea dye. That all goes away. And even with EPIRBs and locators, they only get a general area. You've got to get a visual to see someone. So I invented a long orange piece of plastic with struts in it, spreader bars that prevent it from twisting up. So it gives you a long 25 or 40-foot long orange tail. The military approved it on all branches. It's used all over the world. It's saved lives. It's even on SpaceX. And it's embarrassingly simple. One of the things about technology I've learned about, sometimes you have to present a more complicated one for them to appreciate the simpler one. We have a fighter pilot version that goes out automatically if you're unconscious from ejecting from a fighter pilot, flashing lights, bells and whistles. That's the $1,000 incredible version. But once we add that out, then we see people will buy the $100 version, the $80 version on Amazon. So you have the similar technology, except you're not getting ejected from a fighter pilot and from a fighter jet. So it's just a very simple, and the military called it the first passive and continuous signaling device. No other device will keep signaling all day. You can go to sleep, take a nap, it's still working for you. Smoke or flares go away right away. And then in the military sector, if the enemy comes around, you can pull it back and then put it out again, so you can redeploy it. You can't do that with any other signaling device. And they called it the only discretionary device. So if you see the guy searching for you as the enemy, you pull it back in until your guy comes around. But again, for consumers, you just put it out there and they'll see you, whether you're on land, water, snow. And it's just a simple device. And sometimes those are the best, just like your technology. Simple.
So you said so much there in the last 2 minutes as you described this. First of all, it's on SpaceX. That's exactly. Really freaking cool. Come on now.
Thank you. That's the home run. People can talk smack about me and how this is so simple, but it's so elegantly simple that it's under the ass of every astronaut on the $1 billion spacecraft. That is cool. And I think that is really, I'm going to a couple military meetings coming up, and it was the same meetings where I met the SpaceX people. And that has a different ring to it. Even in the techie Shark Tank crowd, which is all about Instagram and, doing all the tech things and living in a phone, I could trump them with the SpaceX thing. It's such a little simple thing. I mean, I'm anti-tech, really. I mean, I use it when I have to, but I want to be alone in nature to think of problems and think of solutions. I don't want to be bombarded by color imagery. And that's,
And it's funny because to your point, we had some, amazing companies there that were talking, like Aaron from Scrub Daddy,
right.
was there, and huge company now, doing, tremendous job,
Right.
but it's a sponge. Like there is no scrub daddy that is going to freaking space. So
Exactly.
you
Exactly.
win. You won Shark
Exactly.
Tank. That's my opinion.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And it's just funny. It's funny how that worked out, but that is the simplest ones seem to win out because over time, tech and overcomplicating thing. What is it? Occam's razor. When the simplest
Yep.
solution is the best. The other thing that your listeners might find useful is you don't always have to hit the home run like Scrub Daddy. And you saw the guy, he's a great guy, but he's got a lot of pressure. I'm sure you
Oh
do
yeah.
too. You're running a big organization. Sometimes a niche business is better, a lifestyle business. And Shark Tank, they like to say, oh, it's just a hobby. They degrade you if you go that route. But I'm saying shoot for the moon. Hopefully you can become Scrub Daddy and be on Shark Tank. But if not, you make a little business or even a side business. You could feel pride in that and you can make some money. I mean, that's really what it's all about. We can't all be on Shark Tank. Only 100 people out of 50,000 a year. I mean, that's incredible numbers. So it's
Yeah.
hard, but it's a good thing to shoot for, right? There's no reason you shouldn't.
It is, and man, again, you just say so much in so little
Yeah,
time.
I'm sorry.
But no, it's just it's so profound, some of the things you're saying, because
No, thanks.
to your point, there's hey, I want to create a great business or a huge business. Then there's I want to support my family and have a great quality of life. Those
Right.
sometimes are completely different goals.
Absolutely.
And businesses can support either one of those.
Exactly.
And it all depends on what's your priority and what makes sense for you in the time of life that you're at.
Exactly. Exactly. And I like to shoot for the moon, like a
Yep.
life, your arc is like this. But even if you or go for a home run, even if you hit a single or double, that's still good.
It's still
See,
pretty good.
people are all or nothing now. Even I'm not a baseball fan so much these days, but I know it's all home runs or strikeouts. That's kind of boring, right? I mean,
Yep.
and in life, I'm not never ever hold back in your dream and put the fantasy all the way out there. I have many more fantasies based on some of the work I've written a bunch of books and stuff. I want to do a whole Curious George TV show, Brainstorm Islands, for kids, inspire kids to be entrepreneurial. And I had a crazy upbringing with my friends, rock stars, and just crazy surfing big waves and have a whole TV show. I have all these great plans. They're probably not going to happen, but hey, you got to go for it. And even as you
Yep.
age, I'm 63, man. You got to have that edge. You have to have that desire, or you're just going to fade away. And I'm not fading away. I'm still in the game, physically and professionally.
Yeah,
So
and it's one of those things, truthfully, that and you're the same way as I am. You talk with a lot of budding entrepreneurs. You try to
right.
mentor them, try to give them advice, things like that. But to your point, there's everybody wants to hit the home run, and when they don't hit the home run, they feel that they failed. Like, no,
Exactly.
like, number one,
Exactly.
you're going to learn lessons. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
entrepreneurship is not one of those things that you can learn by not doing. Like, it's like
Exactly.
like it's like going out and sitting
Even,
in your car and saying, well, I know how to drive now because I spent 45 minutes in my car and I turned the wheel back and forth. Like, no, you got to get
right.
out on the road and actually learn how to do
Right,
it.
exactly. And even if like my kids, I used to root for slightly bad things to happen to them. Not
Slightly
not
bad,
really
yes.
bad. Yeah,
Yep.
not really bad, slightly bad, so they can deal. And too many
Yep.
kids are over coddled, and they're also afraid to start up things. And because the internet makes it look so easy to hit the home run, they're delusional of what it takes. I'm just saying, look, start small. You got a product. There was someone at the show that had a new product, and they're worried about storage and ship. I go, build one and go around the country and get some sales, and then build 100. I mean, that's more of the old model,
Yep.
and that seems to be the way. And you get your feet wet, like you said. You have the trials and tribulations by doing the work yourself. I mean, that's how you learn things. You don't learn from listening to someone. You learn from doing it. I mean, it's important to listen and learn, but the actual action of learning is best done by experiencing it.
Yeah, and you seem to be a person who experiences life, and tries to experience it to its fullest. So you're to your point, you've written some books,
Right?
which is fantastic. So that,
Thank you.
that's awesome. That's one of my goals, is to write a book. Your product was
Thanks.
on Shark Tank, and now it's on SpaceX.
Yeah.
You're a big wave surfer. You live in the most gorgeous place in the world, which is Hawaii. I mean, it's
Right. Thank
um
you. Well, but again, no one gave me this shit. I mean, this was
yeah,
all what I just said. I figured out early on that if I got A's at school, no one could touch me. So my friends were all derelicts, and my parents, no one even liked them. But I was the responsible one. This respect, responsibility, and resourcefulness. That's what you got to learn and instill in your kids. That was put in on me. So I kept people putting goals, uh, tests and goals in front of me. I'm like, okay, I can get an A on that, or I can achieve that. And like, oh, I'm a surfer in Miami, Florida. The waves are 1 inch. No way. I want to be a surfer in Hawaii. And the women were mean in Miami. I want to go where the women are beautiful and the waves are incredible. So I didn't go from 1 foot to 20 foot overnight. I worked at it, just like Flexol or any technology or getting Shark Tank. I was pitching my whole life. I pitched endlessly and always. And I crowd pitch too. A lot of guys wait to pitch only at I'll pitch at Taco Bell when I'm getting a bean burrito. I want to know what everyone thinks of stuff, because that's more of an authentic sampling. And then just keep getting better at it and know that no one knows your stuff better than you. A lot of
yep,
people get nervous. If you've done your homework and you know the answers, even Shark Tank, we had to have all the numbers, everything. But when you get up there, you got to know that you know it better than anyone, even to the guy at Taco Bell. Look, I know this. You don't even know this. That's your beginning of getting confidence. And then just keep working at it. And again, not being disappointed. When you have a failure, that's okay. It sucks. Embrace the suck and be bummed for a day or two, but then go, okay, I like paybacks myself. And SpaceX is my payback on those sharks. Now, the sharks all liked it on national TV. They said, this is a great technology. It's going to save lives. I couldn't ask for anything more. But the fact that they didn't want to help me save lives in this country, in this world, I find embarrassing. And now, I think one of your guys called me the ring of survival.
yeah.
The sharks blew it with Ring. Now they blew it with Sea Rescue Streamer, and now they can. And by the way, Artemis, NASA just called me, and they bought some units. They're testing it to go to the moon. So that's almost as good as SpaceX, or it is better.
Yeah, yeah. So the sharks. Just again, for those of you that are listening or watching, and you haven't seen the episode, to your point, everybody loved the product. You talked about
Right,
the lives that were saved, and all
right,
that stuff, and the sharks just they didn't quite get it. They didn't think that they could bring value. I think that was a little bit of an
right.
excuse. You know what I mean?
I think that was a total excuse. Yes, I did. I clearly know other stuff in the military, and that's my expertise. I was not asking them to become the military guys. I was saying, get the lobbying to go for the home run, which is mandated for all life jackets or life rafts, or do this whole social media thing, which is what they're supposedly good at, and
Yep.
TikTok, Instagram, and I still could do that. I could. I don't want to live in a phone, but I believe that I could be a TikTok star if people over 15 are watching, or even the 15-year-olds. 15-year-olds are longing for real people to tell them real stuff, you know?
No, I agree with you. I
and,
do.
and that's why I was hoping they would help me do that. But they did the next best thing, which is they all liked it and they didn't entangle themselves with me. And now I can do anything I want. So, and they keep rerunning it on CNBC. It's been on like 50 times, and I get to meet great guys like you, ladies and men that are just incredible, that have done the same kind of path. And I learn from you guys. I mean, it's all good. The community is incredible, and just entrepreneurs in general, just that attitude.
Yep.
My whole thing is don't quit your day job so you can quit your day job. And you take that as juice. You like, oh, look, I hate this job, but I'm going to show up and do a good job. But at night and weekends, there are 140 hours a week in the week, including all the 24/7. Some approximate number, 40-hour workday per week,
Yep.
40 hours to sleep. That still leaves another 40. So stop scrolling on your phone and watching TV and attack your idea and build it. I mean, I did it for years. And in Hawaii, back in the old days with faxes, I had to wait till 11:01 to start sending mass faxing. I fax every newspaper or magazine in the world, and then I'd be a polite pain in the ass. I would say, look, I'll call you if you don't want to hear about it. Thank you. Can I call you back? I had to call Outside Magazine 3 years before they'd write it. So write an article about it. And then when they write it, you let them be. You don't over dominate them. You don't control freak them. You let them write. So one of the guys wrote Gilligan's Island would have been one episode if they had the streamer. That was
That's a
brilliant.
great
That's
quote. That's
exactly that
amazing.
was Men's Journal. I think that was in
Yeah.
Men's Journal. So, and PR, my brother was in advertising PR, and he taught me. He goes, thousands of editors are sitting on their ass wondering what to write about. And all you budding entrepreneurs should be talking to people, even if it's a local paper in your community or a local website. You keep pitching, and then I'd get one article, and then I would show everyone else what everyone else is. I'm doing it now. Here's what everyone else is saying.
Mhm.
Miami Herald wrote about it first, and I've sent that out 100 times. Now SpaceX is. I know I got some good ammo now with Shark Tank and SpaceX and Lives Saved and maybe NASA and the moon. What more do you want me to do? I mean, I don't know. I don't understand. Like
Like, if you can't get a story out of this, like,
exactly.
there's something wrong.
This is too juicy. Maybe they maybe think I'm catfishing them. I don't understand.
So, were you an entrepreneur growing up? Like, did you do like the
Oh,
lemonade stands and all
absolutely.
that fun stuff?
Absolutely. My father was one of the original. He started the business again. He had a day job, and ironically, he was selling Catalina bathing suits. You know, and a surfer came to our house when I was 5, and he had knobby knees and tan. He had a beer and a guitar. I go, I want to be like this guy. But so that planted the surfer seed. But my father started the business in our garage, in our carport, and it lasted for 65 years till he was 92.
Wow.
So, and I saw that, which is to work for yourself and to be entrepreneurial. And my brother and I used to go around the neighborhood we had a pet alligator. We kept it in a little cage. Kind of cruel to think about it now, but in the 60s and 70s, we'd take the alligator around and charge people to see it. You know, we had little things like that. We were always doing something. I mean, I was a pool boy for years, and entrepreneurial. I even sold Coke and Pepsi at the Dolphin games, Miami Dolphins. I was one of those guys. So anything. I even sold shoes. And my friend that sold shoes with me at Kinney's shoe store, which is like Payless,
Okay.
he's like $100 millionaire guy now. And my other buddy's a major rock star. We were all hardcore business, edge scratching to make money to go out, to go surfing or chase women or do whatever we were doing. We always had that attitude. And I always thought once I became a scientist because that was my default. I'm good at math and science. So I got to Hawaii, I get my Ph.D. working on volcanoes. But I'm like, I don't want to be a professor because they're going to send me to the University of Nebraska or somewhere to be a professor. I'm in Hawaii. I finally made it. I got to stay here. I got to start my own thing. And that's another thing about entrepreneurs. You can build your life around yourself instead of be subject to what other people want you to do. So just kept building stuff on the side. And I knew the patent process and military approvals, barriers to entry. You want to get a technology to play with the big boys, you have to have protection. And that's why the patent route worked for me. But I've had a lot of different businesses. I have a pocket desalinator, a pocket flotation device, inflatable paddle boards and rescue boards were my original thing. All these video search and rescue, all these things, but you have to prioritize which you're going to go for because you want to go pick the winner. Picking the winner is the most important thing because if you pick the one that doesn't go anywhere, you lose a lot of time. But that's also a good lesson. So it's just, I've been entrepreneurial my whole life. I just can't shut it off. I mean, when I go for a paddle, I got to put sunscreen on my back. Years ago, I had a dermatologist say, "Hey, you got to dig that out of your back." I go, "I can't reach my back." So then I had my friend, and I had to ask my friend to put sunscreen. I'm usually alone. I go, "Put sunscreen on my back." He put it on. He goes, "Yeah, can you do it for me?" And I put it on. He had his old hairy back. I go, "I don't want to put sunscreen." So then I invented a little roller. I use a little paint roller. I have a lot of stupid inventions that are not really to make money, but I'm always everything is a problem to be solved. Yep. And also I came from the family of do it yourself. My father's a child of the Depression. He was in the Depression. So his claim to fame is he made a bicycle out of a bunch of beat up bicycles. He was always hands on, and we're basically function over form. The stuff I build is not really pretty in its initial stages, but it works. Function.
Yep.
So I think it's just, and it's so freeing. It's so empowering to think of something on your own. My kids always give me hell. They come over here at my house and they say, why don't you do this? I go, I don't buy stuff new. I build stuff. And it may look like a rig job or it's, I'm very nature centric. I don't really want, to by what someone else has done. If I can find my own solution and own my solution, it's powerful. For me, I think it's powerful for most people. I think we're all survival people because we're all a bunch of animals running around trying to survive. We just have all this tech and all this stuff overprinted us, but we're all basically food and shelter people, right?
Yeah, and that is one of the problems, at least I see with some of the younger entrepreneurs, is
Right.
that they are trying to solve problems that don't exist. If that makes sense, right?
Exactly.
Like
Absolutely.
you know, and they're looking for problems. They're looking for solutions, in their lives to
Right.
problems that don't exist. Yeah, like, look, how many
Exactly.
likes you got is not a real
Exactly.
problem. Like your likes being down 20% today over yesterday is not real. Like
Exactly. Exactly.
it's real, but it's not real. It's not.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
It's so true. And they think, and they don't want to do the work. I mean,
Yep.
in the old school, just because you got likes, there's an easy way to generate some excitement. It's not the same. And they jump from scanning their Instagram and getting likes to watching Shark Tank and think that's an easy jump. It's a humongous jump. And even people that say, I want to be on Shark Tank, I'll say, well, what's your business? They go, well, it's just an idea. I go, they don't take ideas. They want mature, exploding growth businesses. That's
Yep.
it. If just your idea, that's a different show. And they've tried that and it doesn't work because ideas are cheap. It's execution that is the one. And also selection. Like I said, you got to have a good picker. I got to pick the winner. The streamer one I thought of when I was doing my PhD in 85. Most of your listeners weren't even alive. You may not have been alive. And it's like
I was
it
definitely
never
alive, but I appreciate you saying that.
it never left me. I move on. If I get stuck in something, I move and do something else because then you come back with a new perspective. That streamer thing, it's like I know this is the right idea. And I don't care how many people laugh at it or tell me it's a joke or it's the original was pink. It was instead of orange. And I had a Navy guy living across the water from me. And he goes, you got to lose the pink. And he was right because, macho guys, homophobic, they don't want a pink little ribbon coming off of them. We went to international orange, boom.
Yeah, they want
People were
manly
more
orange.
accepting. Exactly. And it's like, but still back to, you just keep trying to build your credibility and your war chest of why this is important. And I think young people are afraid to really put in the work because it's really hard to grind and really grind. And I know you've done it and are still doing it. And everyone at that Vegas Shark Tank reunion they're doing it. They're there to learn. That's
Yep.
what was most impressive to me. Here's a bunch of people that are wildly to moderately successful, yet they're all a thirst to learn, interact, network, keep pushing it. And I know, and I liked how Scrub Daddy said it's all about being competitive. And, I love when people say that because I'm the first to admit it. I'm ultra competitive. I compete, and it's mainly with myself and where I want to go.
Yep.
But I really have trouble with people taking offense when you say you're competitive. And I try to instill it. I do a seventh grade girls in tech thing every year here in Hawaii. And I always want to empower the girls because I don't know what it is, but guys are just more macho, maybe hunter-gatherer versus traditional nester. But the women don't like to compete, but they do. They don't like to acknowledge that they compete, but they do. We all compete all the time. And there's nothing wrong with it. In fact, what I would like to see is offer little Shark Tank awards at every level of school. So everyone's just brainstorming and getting rewarded for that. So kindergarten, I've heard some brilliant ideas from kindergartners, elementary kids. They're just much more simple and focused. They haven't been bombarded with the shit we have over living through social media. So give money away, elementary school, high school, college, grad school, and then open. And just have contests for inventions and just give away money. People learn by doing stuff. If you have an incentive and you give away, it doesn't even matter. People will do anything for a plaque. Give them $100 in elementary school. It'll be awesome. 1,000 in high school and 10,000 in college. People will be all over it. And they are. They have startups and business competitions. I'm a little disappointed because people are all doing like startups in the tech world, in the social media world. It's like it's not. I like hardware function like Flexol. I mean, that's a piece of hardware It solves a long-standing problem. Don't make me fatter or lazier. That's what most invention, and that, here's how you can eat quicker without moving. Here's how you can do this without learning. Even like reading a map, GPS is great, but no, it's not. Google Maps. Uber's great, but no, it's not. You don't know how to drive. You don't have to know how to explore a city. I mean, there's pros and cons. And if you keep making it easier and easier and easier, and people getting fatter and fatter, I don't mean just regular fat. I mean just fat and lazy, not physically fat necessarily, but just lazy. Really, you get soft. I mean, it's the same reason rock bands. How come the first rock band of any group is usually their best album? Because that's when they were hungry and they were trying to make it. Then they make it, they're fat and lazy. So kids today are fat and lazy. They're watching TV all day in their phone and thinking, oh, scroll, beautiful picture. I'm anywhere I want to be. I can send a couple tweets, or I can get a couple thousand likes. That isn't, like you said, that's not success. That's cool, but that's like fun time. That's not real work time. And it's kind of disconcerting. I'm getting on a rant on this because I'm passionate. I'm losing the kids, man. I want to have kids. My kids are fine. They're old already, and they had to grow up with my psychotic rap. So they're already tweaked. They're both entrepreneurs themselves, but it's just, I want to see more of it, because I think, and that's America. I mean, this is, the whole country's built on this, right?
It is, and I think that we as Americans forget the privilege that is afforded to us to be entrepreneurs. Like that is not something. Again, we're so spoiled here. Like that's not something that is universal in the rest of the world. Like that's the ability for us to say we want to start a business and there is nothing holding us back is huge.
Exactly. I mean, people say to me, "Have you traveled?" I've been all over, but I don't really like going to see what man-made stuff like a church or a pyramid. That's just done by slaves who have no opportunity to be entrepreneurs. I'd rather go look at nature and see how animals and volcanoes work. But the same thing, we are free in America to start 10 businesses, one business, no business. And it's just unfortunate that people take it for granted. And especially the kids, they don't realize how lucky they are until they have to start working 9 to 5. Right. I mean, that's always the best lesson. You want to incentivize someone to be an entrepreneur, get them to shave every day and go rush hour traffic and work for the man who doesn't give a shit about you and get paid and have all your paycheck removed. And I don't want to take away any of your employees. I know you have employees and you treat them great, of course, but to be an employee, the home run in my world is never be an employee and never have an employee. It's very hard to do that. I was a licensing guy originally, because then I got mailbox money. That's the home run. You just sit back, but it's really hard to do that. So
I'll keep that in mind as I lay in bed at night thinking about the 170 employees that FlexScreen has.
Oh my God, I commend you and thank you for putting these young men and women to work in good, viable jobs, and you're building something that's great. You can't do it without having that many people, right? Yeah. That's the bottom line.
But I think the entrepreneurial spirit, though, is really alive within our organization.
Oh, right.
That's exactly the thing. I try to make sure that if somebody has that spark, that I'm trying to help them with that. And we've had people that, they come in, they're like, "Hey, I want to start my own business." I'm like, you are not going to be in a better place than this right here.
That's great.
Working for a young company, awesome. and seeing, and look, when you decide to make that jump, fantastic. We're gonna applaud. We're gonna offer to help you, whatever the case may be.
Yeah,
but get in and get awesome. Some experience. But
so that's good, man. You're the idea. If I had to work for someone, I'd want to work for you.
No, I work them like dogs for that.
No, I know. Well, there's a yin and yang of that. There's a mixture.
No, but it is again. I have a lot of young people. Again, you had a chance to meet some of them, and I have young people that, again, they just have a drive, but they are, to your earlier point, that's kind of unique right now. Right. I've had people come in and be like, "Oh, I want to start a business. I want to do an app." You know what I mean? Right, I want a bazillion-dollar app. I'm like, okay, well, you code an app? Well, no. Right. I'm like, well, maybe you should go to school for that and like understand,
That's true.
like
That's a good
what are
idea.
some
Yeah.
things, like how do you get some experience? Well, I don't want to do that. I just want to, well, okay. So you really don't want to start a business. You want somebody just to write you a check. Like that's
Exactly.
like that.
And the other thing is you invent what you know, and what
Yep.
you say, telling that person to go to app school or to write code, they might learn something there that could find a niche for them. But you can't do anything but learn from experience and getting stuck in things. And I remember I had a professor that years ago, he had a Ferrari and I had a little VW Bug, my first car, and it broke. The tailpipe fell off. And I said, man, can you help me, Doc? And he goes, oh, okay, come over. And I ordered the part. I came to his house, and he goes, here's the tools. I'm going to watch the football game. That was it. And I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I just wrestled with it all day. It was one of the greatest accomplishments of my life at that time. And he pissed me off when he told me that. I thought he was going to help me do it. No, you do it. Here are the tools. You do it.
Hey, look, the fact of the matter is, if you want to be an entrepreneur and you're afraid of challenges, you're in
Right.
the wrong stinking, like you're
Exactly.
just go work for somebody. Like
Exactly.
and I tell people that a lot, and it's not, I couldn't work for somebody. You couldn't
Right.
work for somebody, right?
Right.
There's something in us, and it doesn't make us better. It just makes us different, right? It's
Right.
just,
Exactly.
and there are people that really like working for people. That's fine.
Right.
Like that's good for you. That's good for your life.
Absolutely. I agree with that completely.
But yeah, if you're a round peg, don't try to fit into this square hole just because of something cool you saw on Instagram. Like that you think that you'll be.
And if you do, just do that at night and on weekends. Period.
Yeah.
Don't quit your day job till you can quit your day job. So if you could build that side gig up at night and weekends, building your zillion-dollar app, and fine, but don't ever put the pressure on yourself to make it work right away. Because as you know, everything takes twice as much money and twice as much time. So
Man,
it's
I
like,
wish it was just twice as much.
I know.
Been easy.
Exactly. Orders of magnitude, 100 times more time and 100 times more money. But yeah, you're right. And it's just, people don't get it. And it's, I tell myself it's the tortoise and the hare. Everyone knows that.
Yep.
The rabbit ran quick and he just leisured near the finish line. I'm the tortoise. I'm the life tortoise. And even to the Shark Tank guys, we interacted and you thought I could have been a hare or whatever. I'm a tortoise. I'm got SpaceX. I'm going to NASA. I'm going to the moon. And thank you. You guys did your part. You acknowledged it. But and it's not retribution, but it's just fuel. I like some juice.
Fuel.
I like
great.
incentive.
Yep.
I want to be incentivized to do shit, especially as you start aging up. You're like, shit, what really drives me? What gives me the fuel? And I'm fortunate. I got a bunch of those things. And I think, that famous movie where the cowboy said, you got to have one thing. Well, that's it. I got like 5, which is incredible. But most people don't have anything. Nothing really drives them to get up and charge things or quit not quit their job, but get off at 5 and start working on their passion project.
Yeah.
That's it. And it's all about passion. So,
Yeah.
I encourage people to find that. I mean, that's it. And make a business out of it.
Yeah. People don't understand the amount of work that goes into overnight successes.
Exactly. They only hear the last night. They don't hear the whole.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. And that's absolutely true. And that's why people meet me and they, you got so lucky. I go, yeah, I did, but I didn't. I've been working my ass off since kindergarten. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So what? I went to a good school. I was in a middle-class neighborhood. Yeah. Good school, good teachers, good classmates. I never went to private school a day in my life. But guess what? Every time there was an assignment, I did it. Every time there was a quiz or a test, I got an A. Okay. I figured out very early, do the work, get rewarded, get the little tick, keep moving up. And even if it's patents or military approvals or getting outside magazine or men's journal or whatever, you just keep building up your quiver. And even if it doesn't go anywhere, you're achieving little goals.
Yeah.
And I just live by that. And I think I've watched enough people retire and then die. So, I'm not doing this. My father made it to 95. My buddy Louis Zamperini of Unbroken, he lived till 95 and he was lost at sea for 47 days, eaten, down to a skeleton. So, but he had the passion. They both had the passion and the will to live. They talk about that a lot in the survival schools. The number one survival tool in any situation is your brain. And that can be socially, business, life, anything. whatever's happening to you, you take stock, you know, wipe up your tears, and then think about what happened and what you can do. Keep using your brain. And if you don't keep using your brain, then you just kind of age out. I'm not aging out at 80. I'm going to 100 unless I get in a car wreck or a surfing wreck or cancer. I'm not going out because I didn't take care of myself or because I'm bored. I'm not bored. I'm charging. And that's, you know, that's it for me.
Well, I got to tell you, man, we have to call it a day here, but we're going to have to talk again on the podcast.
Anytime.
Because, man, this is, I feel like you and I could go for another 2 hours just talking about this stuff, because I think we're really aligned with
Absolutely.
a lot of our thoughts. I mean, this is, life is here for us to live it, not for it to happen to us.
Exactly. And absolutely. And as I said, the red carpet rolls out for come to Hawaii anytime. So there's flights every day.
We'll do the next one in person out at your place.
Exactly. Come on out. I would love that.
Yeah, so
I'll give you a demo. Okay.
I can't wait. Yeah, just drop me off in the middle of the ocean. I'll unwind one of those things. See if you can
I don't kill people here. I'm very even surfing. I'm not taking you surfing where I go surfing. I'll take you on little waves, but I'm not taking it.
There you
go. Not a macho thing. I'm not macho like that.
All right. So if we want to get a, if we want to be safe out in a boat, out on hiking, all that stuff, we need a sea rescue. So tell everybody how we can get one.
Just go to Sea Rescue Streamer on Amazon, and or you can Google my name if you want to see some of the books I have, or the website drives to Amazon and the military comes to us directly. But it's basically, you could say Sea Rescue Streamer or Rescue Streamer. Just Google that and you'll see it right away.
SEE, not SEA.
Yeah. The tagline originally was, you have to be seen to be rescued, which we could talk about that for all that. You sell your company on the benefit, and you've beautifully done it with the word flex. The benefit of your screen is it flexes. The benefit of the streamer is you can be seen,
see it,
and to be rescued, see to be rescued. And it's just, again, a lot of people make these mistakes nowadays. Everyone's just trying to create a new word so they can get a domain name, which is fine. It's just the world we live in, but you still have to sell the benefit. But yeah, Sea Rescue Streamer on Amazon. And I also did what's that show with, Innovation Nation on CBS. I did a piece on that. That's really good too, if you want to catch it. And, but on Shark Tank, it's on Hulu now, all our episodes. So I'm on season 8, episode 22. If you want to see all the sharks basically blow me off, but that's okay. Mark Cuban kind of flirted with me. I'm still feeling a little uncomfortable about that, but
well, Mark, if you're listening,
any flirt's a good flirt. I don't care. I just want people to want me.
Well, thanks so much for being on the show.
Right,
I really appreciate it,
man.
And
my pleasure.
Good luck to you in the future.
All right, same here, man. Take care. Aloha. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Lessons from the Tank. If you got value from today's podcast, we encourage you to subscribe to the podcast so you're notified when a new episode is posted. If you'd like to support our podcast, we encourage you to review it and share it with a friend. Thank you, and we'll see you on the next episode.